Hello and good evening from the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The World Health Organization has warned that a mental illness crisis is looming as millions of people worldwide are surrounded by death and disease and forced into isolation. According to a report of the WHO's Mental Health Department, the current situation of isolation, fear, uncertainty and economic turmoil across the world could be the cause of a worldwide upsurge in the number and severity of mental illnesses. The UN has reported that governments should put the issue front and centre of their responses. Emerging studies and surveys are already showing COVID-19's impact on mental health globally. China's foreign ministry has said that the country opposes what it calls slander from the United States after US officials said Chinese-linked hackers broke into US COVID-19 research. In a joint statement, the FBI and the American Department of Homeland Security said they were investigating digital break-ins at US organizations by China-linked cyber actors suspected of trying to obtain public health data and studies related to vaccines, treatments and testing. The Chinese embassy in Washington condemned the allegations as lies. Spain's daily coronavirus death toll has risen above 200 for the first time since May the 8th. The Spanish Health Ministry reported 217 people had died overnight, bringing the overall death toll from the disease to over 27,000. Preliminary results from a nationwide coronavirus antibody study showed that about 5% of the overall Spanish population had contracted the virus, about 10 times more than the tally of diagnosed cases suggests. Burundi has expelled its country's head of the World Health Organization during a presidential election campaign in which large rallies are being held. Burundi is expelling its national head of the WHO at a time when politicians are pressing ahead with large election rallies despite warnings against mass gatherings. In 2018, UN investigators probing allegations of rights abuses were kicked out of the country. The United Nations has previously accused security personnel and a ruling party militia of organizing gang rapes, torture and killings in the country. In Kenya, truck drivers taking the Kenya-Tanzania route are complaining of massive delays at the Namanga border point due to COVID-19 screening and certification. A few days ago, Kenya ramped up its surveillance at the Tanzanian border after 14 cases had been recorded at the crossing. However, this caused massive delays and bureaucratic problems for trans-border workers, such as truck drivers. Kenya has reported 715 cases and 36 coronavirus deaths, while Tanzania has confirmed 509 cases and 21 deaths, but the government has been criticised for not providing regular updates on the status of the outbreak. In Afghanistan, a truck packed with explosives has killed at least 5 people in an attack claimed by Taliban insurgents. The truck exploded in the eastern city of Gardez, wounding at least 15 civilians. That's according to the Afghan Defense Ministry. The explosion comes 2 days after at least 56 people were killed in attacks elsewhere in the country, including women and newborn babies, dealing a setback to peace plans in the war-ravaged nation. In Germany, a spectacular controlled explosion has brought down 2 cooling towers of a disused nuclear plant in the southern town of Philipsburg. Germany took another step towards completing its withdrawal from nuclear power, leaving half a dozen plants still to close over the next 2 years. Greenpeace has welcomed the destruction, saying it should stand as a symbol to turn from outdated energy supply to renewables. And finally, volunteers across the Algerian capital Algiers are cooking meals and packaging food items to be distributed to families in need throughout the month of Ramadan. With many Algerians hit hard by the impact of the disease, charity workers have taken meals on the road, delivering hot food and other necessities to people's homes or places of work. The Nas Al Khair charity workers say they distribute over 1,000 meals a day, while representatives of the Algerian Food Bank say their packages have reached 19,000 families since the beginning of Ramadan. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.